Good morning. It is Monday morning, the first Monday morning in June, I guess. Maybe it's the second. I've lost track. Anyway, we are Ann Brennan and
Anastasia Van Greshby.
And we're the Marketing Moms. We're here to make marketing easy for you. That's our goal. I've got the banners here somewhere, but I got myself stuck for a minute. We make marketing easy for you because the truth is you're trying to run a business and it's not easy to also do your marketing, but you can do it until you can't, and you need to hire somebody like us, right? In the meantime, we're going to give you all the tips for making it easy for yourself. Lunar report. You want to hear this, Anastasia?
I guess so. I'm curious to see what exactly she's done now.
So you know how I have these cool new glasses that I really love, and they have toppers, right? You can change the toppers out. And I've been so excited about them. And one of my favorite things is that my whole life, I've only been able to have one pair of sunglasses for like years at a time. Whereas other people, they can like switch them out and they look so cool. I never get to do that because I always have to wear prescription sunglasses. So I love the sunglass toppers in particular. She got a hold of my entire stack of toppers for my pair I wear, the entire stack. And the problem is that because the rest of them are empty, right? You can take them off, you can put your finger right through them. And that didn't matter. She didn't mess any of them up. But the ones that had the sunglass part, she ruined both of my pairs. So I'm not a happy camper. I'm a very unhappy person because of my dog.
Luna's so lucky.
She's so
lucky that you are her you are her person, because I feel like most other people would be like, and I'm done. Like every week there's something, it's like, I'm done. I will say that you have any puppy fever that I've had. Like I told my husband, I'm like, we're never having another puppy ever again. We've had two, and I felt that way while having the puppies. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much work. They're so difficult. And, they calm down eventually. But I'm like,
no, I'll never forget how difficult this has been.
They got their puppy in February. So between you getting you got her in December, I think, right? And then they got their puppy at the end of February. And I'm just like looking at this puppy struggle. And I'm like, no, it's like looking at people with newborn babies. I'm like, yeah, no, not doing that again. Like I loved it while I was in it, but I can't bring myself to do it again. And what? I probably will. And somebody's going to show up in my house with a puppy one day, and I'm going to be like, great.
Oh, I want one. Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. So funny thing is that you say that because Debbie was here when it happened, and I said, I showed her. I showed her what happened, and she goes, where's Luna? And I was like, she's in her crate. She's like, oh, thank God.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sure you've killed her this time.
I know, right? I know. That's how you feel. That's how you feel. Yeah.
Exactly.
People, like, the pounds are full of dogs, especially after Christmas and so forth, because people don't realize how much work having a dog in the family is. It's a lot of work. You have to really look at things. So that's, you understand
really,
why
really hard.
People are not cut out. So that's what I'm saying. Like, she's lucky you're her person because you're much more patient than a lot of other people.
Well, and you know what? I generally think that when she does something wrong, it's usually my fault. Right? Sometimes not. Sometimes she does things just to piss me off, to be honest. But like, she spills my drink. Well, you know why she spills my drink? Because I have it sitting on the edge of the table, and she's big, and her nose hits it, and she knocks it off. That's my fault. My glasses, that was not so much my fault. That was on the very back of the counter. That was totally her fault. But sometimes, usually, it's my fault. I leave the kitchen door open. Oh, I have another story to tell you.
Oh, well.
Rocky.
Oh, Rocky.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So Rocky, I never talk about. He's 8 years old. He's so good. But he's a food thief, and he always has been. Well, in our house, I keep calling it my new house because we've been here 2 years, but in the new house, we have a swinging door into our kitchen. And Rocky's terrified of it. Luna, I wish I had video. I never catch her, but Luna just walks up to it like a bull. She's just like as fast as she can, and she slams it with her paw, and she goes right through. She doesn't even break stride, slams it and walks right through. Rocky won't do that. So I just said, it's usually our fault. So we know that Rocky will steal things off the counter. You cannot leave the kitchen door open if there's stuff on the counter. The other night, we're eating on the deck, and Blaze went in to do something. And I guess maybe he went to the bathroom or something, because he went through the kitchen and he left the door open to the kitchen. And there was a flank steak, 2.5 pound flank steak on the counter. He got the entire thing.
I believe it.
I was so mad. 2.5 pound flank steak. That was expensive. Anyway, so yeah, neither of my dogs is very good. They both suck. Anyway, all right. I want to remind everybody that you can ask questions. We do this live, and we're monitoring our questions as they're coming in. So if you have a question, please do ask it. Ask the questions. We can answer it. If we don't answer it during this particular show, we'll answer it in a future show. We're actually doing a show coming up about keywords, because somebody asked that question, and we did it was a question about keywords that was much longer than just a simple answer on the show. It would have sent us off in a whole other rant, but we'll sometimes create an entire show based off your questions. So please do ask questions as we go, or make comments. Let us know what you think. Speaking of that, what you should probably go ahead and tell them about, since we're going to be talking about reviews today, tell them about what they should do today with their reviews.
What should you be doing with your reviews? You should be looking at your reviews. First of all, make sure that you know where people are leaving your reviews. And if you're on Google and somebody sends you a message saying they're going to leave you bad reviews, and you need to reach out to Google about it.
Oh my gosh, we should talk about that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So here's what happened. We have a client, and we've talked about him on the show before because we adore him. And here's the thing. Not all clients are created equal. Not all people are created equal. Some people are way nicer than other people. And this particular client, his name's Chris Case, and he owns Case Home Inspections. And he is the single nicest person I know. He's just so incredibly kind and wonderful. We moved into our new space, and he has done he's put in all our cabinets for us,
Mm-hmm.
right? He goes above and beyond when he's doing this. He shouldn't even be doing it, but he does it because he's just such a nice person. Anyway, I guess a few days ago, we got one bad review, and I was like, well, that's unusual, but it was a weird bad review that was like, he no good. Like, it was really bad. It's a really weird bad review. And I was like, well, that's odd. Well, before I could even respond to that review, we got two more, both in really broken English. It was very bad. Anyway, we got 10 in about 2 days. And on the second or third day, we get an email that's also very, very bad broken
Google
English.
message.
I tried to read it.
It was a message through his Google business. Yeah.
Yes. And it said, give us $500 or we're going to flood your account with more bad reviews. And if you give us $500, we'll take down the bad reviews we've already done. We're monitoring this. So because we're monitoring it, we were able to reach out. We're still waiting for an answer, but I'm 100% sure Google's going to fix this because it's very clear what's happening here.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. And Anastasia made a really good point. They said pay us $500, but we're like, okay, how would you like us to do that? Because you didn't tell us how. You just said pay us $500. So, it's sitting here on my desk if you want it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, whoever is doing this extortion is doing a horrible job of it. A really horrible job.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
it's fun. I laugh because we have some other clients that do get negative reviews, and some of them are probably warranted. I remember we used to have a client that we no longer work with who got
we actually fired for this very reason.
We stopped working with him because the reviews were accurate, and he wasn't actually two clients we've had the reviews were accurate, and their solution, instead of providing better customer service and better service in general, was to pay the people off to take off their reviews, and that we're not doing that. So we stopped working with both of those clients.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, if you are, please don't. But if you are going to pay them off, at the very least, figure out how to block them so it doesn't happen again. Right? Because, but I mean, he ended up paying one person at least 3 times because the guy's like, well, I'm getting the money, so I'm going to leave another bad review and get more money. So don't do that. It's not a good idea. It really isn't.
Don't do business like that. Like if you just can't, you've got to provide the level of service that people, that you're claiming you have, so
absolutely.
It's that whole, like we did that episode about being a jerk. Like if that's your persona, then great, stick with it, but otherwise, don't be like that. And
well, you're not going to be able to stick with it. Honestly, if you're giving bad service, you're not going to be able to continue doing that because people will not continue coming to you.
Yeah.
You're going well, at the very least, your competitors are going to pick up on it and start taking advantage of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So stop doing it.
Yeah.
But you should make the most of the reviews you get. And I think this is something, so keep in mind, people really trust them, right? People, Anastasia, you had some numbers on this. How many people?
80% of people trust their online review as much as they do the recommendation of a friend or family member. So that's huge. Absolutely. They do. You go on, regardless of like what online shopping you're doing, you're going to look at reviews, right? Like sometimes I'll be shopping for clothes and I look at the reviews to see if they say that it fits the same way, like, does it run small? Does it run large? And that's just on clothing websites, or, Amazon, of course, everybody's looking on Amazon for reviews and seeing what there is. Sometimes I'll be shopping in a store, but I'll look on Amazon to see what the reviews are saying there, especially when they're a verified purchaser or something, you can see that they've actually purchased it. So
well, it's funny you say that. I just ordered a new phone case last night, and I almost did it without looking at the reviews because I was ordering OtterBox, and OtterBox, they're really good. And I was like, I'll just look because it's it doesn't look like the regular OtterBox. It looks a little different. So I'm gonna look at it and see. And I looked at the review, and I looked at several, and they all said the same thing. But the basic idea was, I've always bought OtterBox. I've always loved them, but this particular case is very slick and it falls constantly.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, then I'm not going to get that because that's something the reason I'm getting a new case is because mine is so banged up because I dropped my phone so much.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't need it.
I did the same thing when I was buying the new case for my phone last year. You had bought one, and I was looking at that because we both got our phones around the same time. And then I ended up getting the leather one for that reason, because the reviews said that they had been slick on, and I just got the one from Apple. But yeah, I mean, it helps to read the reviews. So people, and that's just the small purchases, right? So, but think about, you're going out for dinner, like I think Yelp used to be, way back when everybody would look at Yelp and look at reviews, and that really helped. But then when Google had theirs, I feel like I trust a Google review more than I trust a Yelp review. I mean, I know as somebody in marketing that you can, that Yelp asks the restaurants for money, and I'm like, no, I don't like that.
Right.
Whereas Google doesn't. So I'm like, people will leave reviews. Also, I mean, I do look at Yelp sometimes too, but I look at reviews, especially when we're traveling. I'll look and see.
Absolutely. I'm just going to tell you, the people who use Yelp, and if you're a listener on here and I insult you, I'm very sorry. But the people who leave reviews on Yelp, they all are the crankiest darn people I've ever seen. My favorite bad review on there is still it will always be the same because it was just hilarious. Was a sandwich shop in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And it was just a sandwich shop. And it was like, worst wine list ever. It was a sandwich shop. It's like, Yeah, I would suspect that the wine list is pretty bad. They had a red and they had a white. That was it.
Yeah.
You could get wine, but I was impressed that it even had wine.
Yeah.
Because it was literally a sandwich up. Anyway, Google is the one that matters the most. If you're trying to figure out where to get your reviews, drive them to Google. It
Yeah, if
really
you're
matters
sending
a
a link,
lot.
yeah. If you're sending a link out, send out your
Absolutely.
Google link, because that's where people are most
Absolutely.
likely going to find you, right? They're going, what if they're going to Google you? And if they Google you, your knowledge box is going to show up. And that's your Google Maps listing, right? So that's what we've talked about it many times. It used to be called Google My Business. Now it's called Google Business Profile. You can still run it through Google My Business, or you can run it directly in Maps on Google. So that's where we talk about the importance of optimizing that page, of keeping it up to date, of posting on there. But the number one thing that you've got, I mean, apart from the fact, like, make sure all that information is correct, your address, your hours, all of those things, make sure those are correct, but answer your reviews, because it comes up on the top of your thing.
Exactly. You need to respond to reviews as you get them. It's really, really important. But I want to tell you why I decided to do this episode. And I pulled it up on my phone so I could have it up here. But Zane, my 15-year-old, yesterday sent me a text, and it's from Twitter. He screenshot something from Twitter, and it is clearly Top Gun had posted this, but it says Top Gun is freaking awesome. That's what it says. Top Gun is freaking awesome. It's not even a real review, but I'm going to remember that Top Gun is freaking awesome. I don't know where I heard that, but somebody told me that it's freaking awesome, right? And that's why you repost your reviews, because people may not go. I mean, my husband, God, I am not even ever letting him pick dinner again. You should have seen one of the places he took us to dinner recently. I was like, Blaze, what the hell? I swear to God. Okay, I'm good. He doesn't watch the show, so I can talk about him.
I'm with you. I don't think my husband really. Like, I tell him that we do this, but he doesn't watch it. He doesn't. Yeah. He gets enough of you and I talking anyway. He doesn't need any more.
Exactly. So, honest to God, he picked a restaurant. It was Mediterranean, supposedly, and it was, when we went to it. We live in Montgomery County, okay? So let me preface it with that. In Montgomery County, there are a lot of senior living centers, right? There are a lot of, like, senior condos and things like that. And this was in the ground floor of a senior living center. So that
red flag right there.
Gosh. And they're like, it's like it's kind of like a mall area in the bottom of the thing. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It is the only restaurant that's still in this particular senior living center. So clearly, and I was like, sweetie, did you look at the reviews? And she's like, no, you said you wanted Mediterranean. I looked at Mediterranean. This was the closest one to us. It's like, you're never picking for us again, sweetie. Anyway, but not everybody will look at reviews. But if they find your review on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, if they find it because you've reposted it, they're still going to trust that review. They're still going to remember it. And maybe they don't think, oh, I trust that review. But somewhere down the road, somebody's going to say, oh, let's go to this restaurant. And you're going to go, I heard good things about that. Mm-hmm. You're going to remember, oh, I heard good things. I don't know where I heard good things, but I heard good things about that. So it's why we're going to talk about reposting. Don't just if you've got a good review, don't let it just sit there. Repost it. And let me tell you, it does matter. I'm going to kind of go back one step. It does matter. We had a physical therapist office who we worked with, and I'm going to be honest, drove me nuts. They drove me nuts because instead of we even wrote something up for them and said, send this to your clients for after so that they can leave you a review. Instead of doing that, they would hand them a piece of paper at the front desk and say, hey, could you fill this out and tell us what you think of us?
Yeah.
And then I can't just repost that. I mean, I would make stuff with it anyway, but it's so much more powerful if it comes from Google first, if it comes from as a review first. But we would still make things with it. But in this case, if for our clients who actually use reviews properly, we go to Google, we find their best reviews, and we create things with it. So we'll create videos, right? Promotional videos. And I'm going to give you, we don't hide anything here about how we do things. We just don't do that because there's a lot of companies in the world and some of them want to hire us and some of them don't. So if you're trying to do your own, there's a product. It's called Wave.video. And you can create promotional videos in there. And one of the videos you can use, there will be some that say testimonials or reviews, and you can just pop your little review right in there. You're gonna have to make some changes, and it's relatively easy. We still have to train our staff on how to do it, so you'll probably have to be trained or have to take some tutorials, but you can do it. You create videos, and it grabs people's attention as it's going through the feed, so they remember, oh yeah, I saw that somewhere, right? So and then Anastasia, you can talk about the graphics and how
you can create
we're making
graphics with it. Yeah, so there are plenty of, PicMonkey, Canva, all kinds of graphics websites that you can use. They already have templates, and all you do is pop it in there. So, obviously, if you're creating videos, you're creating graphics, and you're using these tools, make sure that you're using your logo, make sure you're using your colors, make sure that it is obviously you and your company. We're red, white, and blue is our logo. Like, we're not going to use things that are lime green,
right?
Unless we're trying to specifically do something with that color, so just be cognizant of that and stay on brand and make sure that
and I'm going to tell you, if you're going to do your own marketing and you're not hiring a company, spend the money that you need to spend to get the right tools. I say it all the time. Anastasia is probably tired of me saying it because there are so many times that I say, oh, I love this tool. I love this tool. It makes it so much easier for me. But it's because I'm buying the pro version. I'm gonna go completely off topic here and say, if you have MailChimp and it's the free version, pay for the real version. Pay for it. And I'll tell you why. On MailChimp in particular. On MailChimp, if you do not have the free version, you cannot schedule your things to go out a certain time, right? Why does it matter? Because if you are a small business and you're trying to run your marketing yourself, then one of the things you can do, and we're going to do an episode next. Actually, next week you'll get an episode on tips for making marketing faster and easier. But one of those tips is, go ahead when you decide, I'm going to start marketing, I'm going to start doing email marketing, and create your Christmas one and your Thanksgiving one and your Easter one and your Memorial Day one. Create them and put them in there to go out months down the road so you don't have to think of it down the road, right? If you create things ahead of time, it's going to make your life a lot easier. So that's MailChimp. But these other things like Wave.video and PicMonkey and Canva, if you don't get the paid version, they're going to put a watermark on it, and it's going to be clear. You're going to be advertising for those platforms because you're going to be putting your thing up, and it's going to say PicMonkey or it's going to say Canva. Well, do you really want to advertise for them when you're trying to advertise for your business? Don't do that. So create graphics, create videos, reshare your reviews. It's really, really important.
One thing I want to say too is when you're creating these videos and graphics, if somebody's left you a whole letter on how great you are, don't use the whole thing. Yes. People are not going to sit and read the entire thing, so make sure that you are using key phrases within there, and just
like freaking awesome.
What's the point? What is the point?
Exactly.
You could put more into the post section, but in the graphic or video, it doesn't need to have every single word.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I was going to say. So do that. And then that's it. But it's so important. And like I said, I loved that Zane sent that to me because we had that conversation before, that when you post your review, people still trust it. It doesn't have, they don't have to find it on Google to see it. They still trust it if they see it come up on your thing. And they do know that you're not putting up your bad reviews, that you're not going to say, here's one of our bad reviews.
Absolutely.
They do know that. So, and then just a reminder, bad reviews are okay. It's how you respond to them that matters. Okay. So don't panic. If you get a bad review, and especially if you get a bad review from somebody who's just a jerk. I told you guys my favorite bad review is the one where the person says, I've been coming here for 25 years. And this time when I asked for mayo, they charged me 50 cents. Well, people who see that review are going to be like, okay, that's kind of a jerk. They're not going to think the business is being a jerk. They're going to think, gosh, that person must be having a bad day, right? And the way you respond to it is what matters, right? It does matter a lot. Anastasia, you got anything to add?
No, I was actually going to add what you added, like just to make sure that you're responding. I mean, responding to your reviews is very, very important. And, you know, people have taken the time to leave your review. If it's positive, that's amazing that they took the time to let you know how great you are. If it is not a great review, have a look at it. Look for the opportunity that you have to address the people to address that person, but to address the people that are going to come after that person. You know, it's an opportunity
Absolutely.
for you. And you know what? Sometimes it's an opportunity for you to make things right. You know, like maybe you're not in your business day to day. You know, and you don't know exactly what's happening. And you're a restaurant that has a server that is doing a bad job, you know, or you're you're a mechanic and the front desk person is not doing the right thing. You know, you as a business owner, if you're, you know, more than a solopreneur and you have employees, you don't always know if everybody's doing the right thing. So if somebody's left a bad review and they've mentioned an employee, yeah, maybe they're just being a jerk. And that employee is awesome and you can ignore it. But maybe they're telling you something that you need to know. So,
yeah,
you know, just
I mean, that the one that we talked about where we had to let them go, it was exactly that. They had an employee who was overpromising. Person was overpromising constantly. And so they weren't delivering. He would say, oh, you'll get it in 2 weeks. And it would be 3 months. But 3 months was the real turnaround. And people were very upset. Well, it had to do with the way the guy got paid, right? He got paid as soon as he made the sale, not upon delivery. And so he didn't care what he told them.
Yeah.
And they needed to rethink how they were doing things in order to incentivize him to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Right.
And they didn't.
So
they didn't care because at the end of the day, they've already gotten paid. So it wasn't a company that we're wanting to continue working with. But actually, it's funny because I feel like there was even one instance where it was like 6 months that this person was.
Oh, yeah.
It was pre-COVID. This had nothing to do with delays that were COVID related. So I can't imagine what that is. I'm so glad we're not doing that marketing anymore because I can't imagine the cluster that has become.
Well, and what we found was that what we said to them and what was true is we're marketing for you and we're putting your name out there a lot. But the truth is, as soon as they see the bad reviews online, they're turning away. It's almost worse that we're doing what we're doing. It's almost worse that we're directing them to you because then they see how bad you are. Mm-hmm. Right? If they just call you out of the yellow pages, then, you know, maybe think everything's okay.
Yellow pages.
So, all right. I know, right? I know, showing my age there. All right, everybody, we will be here next Monday. If you have questions in the meantime, leave them as a comment or send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. If you have great examples of reviews that you have reposted, we'd love to hear those too, because I think that's a really good thing to know. We love to hear what you've got going on. It's very important to us to see that you're doing well. Also, if you've put some of this stuff to work, tell us how it went. Leave us a review and tell us how you put something to work that we've done for you. Maybe we'll have you on the show to talk. We'll see. Finally, don't forget to go to the blog. There's always great stuff there. We have so much information there. You could go back. We have 3 years worth of weekly information on that blog. And we have all the videos that we've done here. So you can find those all on our website as well. Hope you're doing well. We are going to see you next week. And then Anastasia, you're leaving soon. When are you leaving?
Yeah. Yeah, 22nd of June. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Ethan's birthday.
Oh,
I didn't realize that. Yeah. All right. We'll see you soon. Bye.